What's going on, guys, girls? Rob with you here to this morning. College football final scores. We got them coming up. Couple of upsets, not a lot going on this week. Um, we all came in with blazing hot records this week, and um, I'm hoping that we can keep it continued going on for Sunday afternoon. Tim went 12-7. Keith went 12-7. Yours truly, Rob, went 14-5. I'm hoping that I can have a Sunday that good to where I can say got about 80% of them right. Some coaching news coming up. You won't believe it. LSU coaching position. Penn State, if that job comes open, coaching position. USC. Obviously, the LSU deal is going to be the biggest deal, and that's going to be the biggest block to fall. I think it's the biggest job to have right now. Not USC. USC can be, but right now it's not. So let's go back and give you the final scores from this past weekend. Wednesday night, Coastal Carolina, Appalachian State. Appalachian State knocked them off the unbeaten list. They are now out of line for New Year's Day Bowl, 30-27. Appy State pulls the upset. I picked that one myself. Tulane, SMU 14-point favorites, 55-26. Me and Tim went with SMU in that game. Cincinnati, 27.5-point favorites against Navy, and Navy almost pulled the upset. They had the chance. They couldn't pull it off in the fourth quarter. 27-20, Cincinnati wins. They've fallen from second to third in the coaches' poll. It could be worse than that before it's over with. I got that one right. Oklahoma, 38.5-point favorites. Me and Tim went with that one over Kansas. They beat Kansas straight up. Kansas stayed close, though. Illinois pulls off the upset of the day, once beaten Penn State. Penn State now can give up their hopes of a New Year's Day Bowl. I don't think they can get a New Year's Day Bowl even if they win the Big Ten championship. I don't think it happens. There's too many good teams in the Big Ten. Ohio State with one loss, Michigan State and Michigan with no losses, and Iowa with one loss. 2 lost Penn State. I think they're in some serious trouble there. Michigan, 21.5-point favorites over Northwestern. Tim and Keith both got that one. I went on a Northwestern bandwagon there. I just thought maybe they might pull it within 20. Couldn't do it. Wake Forest, 3.5-point favorites over Army. Army puts 56 on the board. But Wake Forest throws 70 on the board, so not a problem. I really don't think Wake Forest drops any. 70-point performance and covering by 14 is a much better game than going out winning 17-3. They have showed the pollsters now they can score points. They are going to move up. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Oklahoma State, they were a 6.5-point dog. Iowa State wins this game 24-21. Ohio State stayed within the 6.5 points. We all three got that one right. Oregon, a 1.5 underdog at UCLA. I just didn't understand that line all the way across. Keith went with UCLA. We went with Oregon, me and Tim, and Oregon won straight out. They won outright, so they didn't need the 1.5. Oregon now still only with one loss in that Pac-12 conference. LSU made me a believer last week. I should have learned. Ole Miss, number 12 in the country. Tim, Keith said roll with it, 10.5. They win 31-17. Ole Miss continues to roll. Clemson and Pittsburgh. Me and Tim thought Clemson might give them a game. They did for a little while. Pittsburgh 3.5-point favorites, not a problem at all. 27-17 Pittsburgh beats Clemson. Um, Wisconsin, 2.5 point favorites against a number 25 team. Um, I liked Wisconsin. I smelled a rat here in this one all the way. I like this one all the way. And I actually picked them to win by 2 touchdowns. They win by 17 points, 30-13. Wisconsin outrights this one. Alabama, Tennessee. Tell me all you want to about Saban. Saban looks at the points. There's ways he can do it, folks. Um, he goes to his players and says something about, I want you to keep playing for the alumni. What do you think the alumni is? The alumni are the people vote, or the alumni are the ones betting on the game. They're the ones betting on the game. They kept playing for the alumni, and they win by 28, 27.5 point favorites. Me, Tim, and Keith all cover that one. San Diego State, 3.5 point underdog on the road at Air Force. We didn't understand that one at all, and they beat Air Force straight up 20-14. Texas San Antonio, 6.5 point favorites on the road at Louisiana Tech. They blow them off, um, blow them out by 29, 45-16. USC traveled to Notre Dame, 6.5 point favorite Notre Dame. We all like Notre Dame in that game, and they win 31-16. Notre Dame is still rolling. South Carolina traveled to Texas A&M. Texas A&M 21 and a hook. Didn't no problem. 44-14. Texas A&M takes care of the hook. No problem there. Ohio State 18.5 point favorites against Indiana. Keith liked the Indiana team. Ohio State had no problem in this game. They probably could have put 80 on the board if they wanted to, 54-7. North Carolina State at 3 and a hook. We didn't like it. Tim went with it. Me and Keith did not like that one already. Miami outright wins this game 31-30. Now, let's talk about the coaching situation right now at LSU. I think it's starting to clear up a little bit. I really do. And it may be USC. I don't know where this coach may end up going, but I think it's going to be a splash for one of these two teams. I personally think LSU ends up getting this coach, and this might be the coup of the century. You know, it was big when Saban went to Alabama. This would be almost as big for LSU if they can land Mike Tomlin from Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin knows he's probably going to be a lame duck coach after this year. It's looking more and more like it. They're not playing for him like you would hope. What are they, 4-2, maybe 5-2, something like that? But they are still behind. They're behind the Baltimore team. They're not as good as the Baltimore team. I'll come right out and say it. And they're going to lose some more games. They may not make it playoffs. I think this is going to be the year that they're going to cut bait with Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. There's big names being mentioned for the Pittsburgh job. I think somebody's pretty much got that job in hand, and he's been talked about every other place in the world. Eric Bieniemy, I think, steps in and takes over the Pittsburgh job. That's my opinion. But I think the big news, I think it's going to happen too. Mike Tomlin is going to leave the NFL and go to college to either coach LSU, USC, or another SEC program. I'm hearing LSU is the big name. I'm hearing LSU wants Mike Tomlin. They're willing to pay him a mint. They're willing to pay him as much as Alabama is paying Saban right now, which is an inordinate amount. What, 9.5 million, 9 million, something like that. It's crazy amounts. LSU wants a proven commodity. They cannot afford to go with some of these team coaches. Luke Fickell that's a chance. That is a chance you're taking. Mark Stoops would be a chance you're taking. See, I really thought at first this team was going to go for a younger version of some of these coaches, somebody they think could step in there for the next 30 years and coach. I don't think they're looking for that. I think they're looking for somebody that can step in there right now, lay the hammer down, and say, guess what? This is the way the rules are at LSU. And I think that Mike Tomlin could be the guy that could do it. Mike Tomlin, what's going on, Alex? I'm hearing it. It's more than one. It's more than one news source coming out with this now. Mike Tomlin, I think, I don't think he'll leave mid-season. It could happen though. Don't be surprised if it does. But I think he will be the next LSU coach. Now, having said that, that's when all of the dominoes start to fall. James Franklin no longer gets that LSU job. That ends up being um, biggest surprise from college football yesterday had to be Illinois. Had to be Illinois, and Cincinnati not doing anything better than 7 points. They fall from the polls from second to third in the coaches poll. They could fall out of the top five before it's over with. Cincinnati's playing with no heart right now. USC job now. Who ends up getting it? Will it be James Franklin? By all accounts, James Franklin wants that LSU job. He does not really want the USC job. I've said all season long, I think it's Luke Fickell's job to have. We'll see. I think Luke Fickell goes to USC, and then they'll find a coach for him at Cincinnati. But if Mike Tomlin ends up leaving, going to LSU, that opens up possibly one of the top 5 coaching positions in the NFL, being the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. And I think Eric Bieniemy is the obvious choice to bring in there. He would fit right in. He likes to run a football. Obviously, he works the offensive system out for the kid up there in Kansas City right now. But he would love to step in there, have an offensive line that, kind of like the Hogs back in Washington. And he could transform that team, I think. Probably Big Ben ends up retiring, and they just move on, and they give Bieniemy a couple of years to develop. Now, James Franklin, what happens if that Florida job opens? I still say he ends up jumping ship to Florida. And that's going to open up a job at Penn State. And that one right there, I think you could get a little sticky with that job right there. I've heard Bill O'Brien's name again. Don't forget, Bill O'Brien went to Penn State when all of this garbage was going on about Paterno. Paterno was still living. Paterno was still living when Bill O'Brien went to Penn State. This is a totally different time now. He is the offensive coordinator at Alabama. He turned around the Penn State situation when they were in a shambles. He goes down to Houston. He doesn't make friends down there, but he turns the team around and he gets them to the playoffs 2 different occasions. After that, he's been over at Alabama now as the offensive coordinator, and that's always the hottest commodity job there is out there. Who wants to hire Alabama's offensive coordinator? And I think there's a great chance Bill O'Brien ends up going back to Penn State, who's your Heisman Trophy winner right now. That's a shambles now. It really is. I don't think a kid from Alabama can win it now. He played like shit yesterday. I don't know. I really don't know. Might be a defensive player for Georgia. Don't think it couldn't be. could damn well be an offensive player from Georgia. I think it could happen. Let's look at today's. Let's look at all this week so far. The Browns beat the Broncos 17-14 Thursday night. Browns were 4.5-point favorites. Me and Tim went with the Broncos, and the Broncos covered within that 4.5. Today, Washington football team travels to Green Bay. They're going to Lambeau. 9.5-point favorite. Green Bay. Walk with that one. Walk with that one. 2 touchdowns will not be a problem. They will run away and hide from Washington. Packers are a lock. Chiefs, 4.5-point favorites at the Titans. I don't understand this line. The Titans just showed you last week that they can run the football on anybody. The Chiefs has not stopped a run all year. This could be a low-scoring game, especially if the Titans are able to run the ball 40, 50 times. I would probably go the under on this game, and I would definitely take the Titans. I think the Titans keep it within 4.5. The Chiefs have not played up to their potential. They played Washington last week. My goodness, everybody plays Washington and beats them. The Titans are a better team. The Titans have played better. I think going home this week, they will get a win. All right, Alex, have a good one. Falcons traveling to the Dolphins. Dolphins coming back from over in England. I don't think it matters. I really don't. I think the Falcons, here in this case, are the better team. Tua has played like garbage. He's not played well any this year. The Dolphins, they just have not played up to their potential. The Falcons haven't either, though. Okay, I mean, in fairness, the Falcons have not done much at all. They're going to be on the road. They're going to Miami. I like the Falcons here. 2.5. We all gave it up. We all have confidence in Matt Ryan maybe scoring a couple touchdowns for that Falcons team. Panthers 3-point favorites going to the Giants. We all like the road team here. We all like the Panthers. Really not a big reason why. The Panthers have not played well the last 2 or 3 weeks. Giants have played flat, though. Giants and Washington, they're maybe the 2 flattest teams right now in the NFC, other than the Lions, obviously. 3 points, not a lot to give up. We all did it. We are taking the Panthers, giving 3 to the Giants. Next, we got the Jets going to the Patriots. 6.5-point favorites are the Patriots. Keith likes us to stay close. He said not necessarily the Jets win. He thinks they keep it within 6 points. Me and Tim, we're feeling like it could be a blowout. Blowouts, 13-plus points. I like 34-20 as my final score here. I like the Patriots to easily win. You can give the points up. Next game, we got the Bengals and the Ravens. Bengals 4-2, Ravens 5-1. If you'd have told me a week ago that the Bengals would be 4-2 after 6 games, I'd say you're crazy. But look at who they've beaten. That's the problem right there. They've not beaten a team with the offensive line and a quarterback like Lamar Jackson. They're not going to do it today. Not in Baltimore. Baltimore, it's a lock of the week for Tim, in fact. Baltimore, 6.5-point favorites. I like them by 2 touchdowns, 31-17 over the Bengals. I think the Bengals could play well early, but I think they fade away. Next, we got the Eagles going to the Raiders. This is a game that can scare anybody. It should be able to scare anybody because you don't know which Eagles defense is going to show up. Eagles defense that can sack Carr 7 times, get a pick 6, and get their offense great field position, or one that's going to bend, punt, and play field position game. If they do that, they're not going to beat the Raiders. I think their defense shows up today. I think Carr has a tough day. Keith likes the Raiders to give up the 3.5. 3, straight up 3. Me and Tim, we like the Eagles in this ball game. Get the points from them. I think they outright win this game, 28-20. I like the Eagles. Next, the hapless Lions. They're on the road against the Rams. Rams are 15.5 point favorites. 15.5, and it's not the largest line this week. And we tried to think of every reason in the world why the Lions will keep us within 2 touchdowns, and we couldn't. Goff has played bad. Goff hasn't got an offensive line. Goff doesn't have running backs. Goff doesn't have wide receivers. The defense for the Lions has played a little bit better, but my goodness, when the offense goes 3-and-out, 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 the defense can't do but so much to fight it off. We all like the Rams. Tim, Keith, and myself, we like the Rams. We give up 15.5 right here. Texans, in fact, 38-20 is what I went with. So I think it'll be close, close to the line. Texans and the Cardinals are 17-point favorites. And we tried to do it the same way again. The Texans, their offense is really abysmal, and now their defense is not showing a lot. We all three went with the Cardinals here. Cardinals stay undefeated one more week. 44-21 is what I've got. I think the Cardinals score a lot of points, play the over too in this game. The Bears and the Buccaneers. Buccaneers 13.5 point favorites. This is one that could scare anybody just by knowing that the Bears have a good defense. They can rush a quarterback, and they can make it very, very tough on Tom Brady. That being said, you can't stop all their running backs. You can't stop all their wide receivers, and you can't stop all their tight ends. You can't stop everything. You can only stopgap something. And the Buccaneers have the best of almost everything. 13.5 is not a lot to give here. We like them big. 39-18. We like the Buccaneers, Tim, Keith, and myself. Tonight's game, the Colts and the 49ers. And the 49ers are a 4-point favorite in this game. And we just kind of don't understand this line. The Colts are a good defensive team. Probably, maybe better defense than the 49ers got this year. 49ers have not played good defense at all. And their quarterback situation in San Francisco is so far up in the air. We don't know where they're going one week to the next. Colts, if Carson Wentz is healthy, Carson Wentz plays. We think he plays. I like your 49ers to win this game, but not by 4 points. 31-28. Couple of the guys, one of the guys I think even said they like the Colts outright. But I'm sorry. I said 20. I'm sorry. I do like the Colts outright in this game. I'm sorry. 28-21. I thought I said 31-28. But no, I got 28-21. I like the Colts outright to win this game. Sometimes I have to read what I write, and sometimes I can't read it. But, yeah, I want to say one of the guys who picked the 49ers to win by field goal. Still, the Colts would cover that. Next, we got the Saints and the Seahawks. Saints, we just don't know what you're getting there. You just don't know what you're getting with their quarterback situation. Seahawks, we know you're not getting Russell Wilson. Having said that, I think they're going to play better at home tomorrow night. National audience. I think they win the game. I don't have a score here. Let's see. I think they're going to win outright. They're 32-28. 32-28. I think they win. They're a 5-point dog, so they're getting 5. I don't care. I will take Seahawks. Tim and Keith are giving up 5 and taking the Saints. So we couldn't be further away from on one there than that one. I really, really, really like the Seahawks. Once again, going back to the news of the day, I'm hearing Mike Tomlin could be the newest coach of the LSU Tigers. We don't know whether it will happen mid-season. We don't know whether it will happen at the end of the season. But Mike Tomlin's name has not come out just in 1, 2, 3 places. It's come out in numerous places. That means probably his agent's on top of this. His agent has something to do with getting his name out there. Mike Tomlin doesn't need anybody to push his name, but nobody pushes it out there because he's never been known He's never been rumored to go in anywhere away from Pittsburgh. That's why I think there's some smoke with his fire. There's fire where the smoke is. I think Mike Tomlin's an excellent candidate. LSU couldn't go any better than this. This would be a home run. I think it happens. Um, the William and Mary product from here in Virginia. Um, he's only had one coaching experience, and that is at the NFL level. That is it. And he's done a heck of a job. I think he could go to LSU and lay down the program there, have a chance to maybe sit and retire right there in Louisiana State. And Eric Bieniemy, to me, is the obvious choice to bring into Pittsburgh. There are other names. I'm sure you're going to hear other names. I think he makes the most sense of anybody. Bring him in, get that tough running game going again in Pittsburgh, where nobody wants to even get in your way, much less wants to tackle you. Then try to get a hard-nosed quarterback next year that can, they can throw the football in the pocket and a big guy, maybe not as big as Ben, but somebody pretty big that can kind of hold their own if they do get hit. That's the kind of quarterback they need. We'll see if they go with it. Bill O'Brien, I'm hearing whispers of him maybe leaving Alabama. The only way I think he leaves Alabama is for a head coaching job. Will James Franklin go to USC? I don't personally think so. I think that's a Luke Fickell's job. But if that Florida job opens up, it's a great chance James Franklin could go to Florida, and I think Bill O'Brien could go back. I never would have said that 10 years ago. Could go back to Penn State the way he left there. But he did turn the program around. I don't think they're going to want a 4-year contract. They're going to want a 10-year contract and be like, okay, you're going to have some hell to pay if you try to leave us early. So we'll see what happens. Till I see you again, my name's Rob. Thanks so much for checking out the channel. Today's locks. For me, it's the Packers. For Tim, it's the Ravens. And I'm not sure Keith gave us a lock today. So we all liked Cardinals minus 17. So that's a pretty good lock here, too. Anytime you give up 17 points, that's pretty much a lot. Till I see you again, my name's Rob. Thanks so much for checking out the channel. Goodbye, and God bless.